Alright, deck recap time. Just in case you have joined us at this point, what we're running today is a deck based around Yasharn. I wouldn't say it's based around Yasharn, but he was our pick 1 rare, and we're rare drafting, so we went with green-white. From green-white, we saw a bunch of clerics that gained us life, and we drafted a relic vial, so our idea was to do some landfall and do some life gain. However, when we did the landfall plan, we didn't get many of the landfall payoffs. We passed on Prowling Faladar and some of the other cool cards for our cleric part of the deck instead. But we got some cool creatures. We have Kazandu Stomper on the top end, Turn Temper Ascetic, and Shepherd of Heroes, all really good cards that can end the game for us. We have Relic Vial with the Attended Healer, so if we have a cleric and we manage to gain life while getting cat tokens, every time our cat tokens die, we will drain our opponent for 1. Might of Marasa is a solid combat trick. Kazandu Nectarpot can gain us life as well as keep us alive until we hit the top end of our deck. And the rest of the cards are just filling up the curve, really. Kitesail Cleric is a cleric. Seagate Banneret, again, if we have landfall and we draw a bunch of lands, we can take advantage and use as a mana sink. Cliffhaven Sellsword is just a generic creature. It is a warrior. It gives us some line of defense early because it has a reach of 3. We'll always be happy to trade this for a bigger creature. And also it does give us a warrior if you know, we're lucky enough to have it survive long enough for Shepherd of Heroes to come in or Myria Captain. Mesa Lynx is really just a filler card. We didn't get all that many good cards to fill up the curve, so Mesa Lynx is definitely a curve filler. And Taunting Arbor Mage is a potential game-ending card. And this is Zendikar, obviously, for the reach. So that's that. Let's move on and play some games. We are ready! Ready today. Yurt looks ready too. Are you ready, Yurt? We are so ready to play against Grumpy George. Let's see what Grumpy George has. Ooh, okay, so we actually got a pretty good part of our deck. Unfortunately, we are going second. We would love to have gone first. But we have 2 early plays to stall, and combat trick, and a card that's pretty easy to get to. That's actually pretty good, so not going to complain about this hand. Opponent goes first. Ooh, and we draw our Kor Celebrant, one of our core cards, so that is excellent. And we're up against green, so hopefully we have more big creatures than they do. That is generally how these games will go. I don't think we have any double white cards, so it's pretty safe for me to just show my 2 forests and keep my white mana in my hand. And what else we got? What else we got? Territorial Scythecat. That we don't have very many solutions against that card, unfortunately. So what we can do here is attack. Obviously our opponent isn't going to block. We will deal 1 damage. If our opponent blocks here, that would be very, very strange indeed. Yeah, our deck is distinctively lacking removal cards, so we are going to have a hard time against 1-card wonders such as Territorial Scythecat. I am hoping we get 4 wins out of this deck, but we do have a severe lack of removal, so maybe even 4 cards is asking too much. Our opponent is running some sort of landfall deck, so that's going to be very, very scary. They have a 5/4 Territorial Scythecat already. Not much we can do here. Obviously, we are not going to block. We have nothing to block with. And our opponent has a seafood stalker. That is not good. So here we are. We play another land. We can play... Mesa Lynx has 2 power, so maybe we get the 2-power creature out first. However, Kor Celebrant can gain us a lot more life, so maybe we just get the Kor Celebrant here. We will survive by gaining life instead. So if our opponent drops another land, that becomes 5/4. If it doesn't drop a land, we can block with the 2 Kor Celebrants. So yeah, maybe we just hold back. Dealing 1 damage right now isn't all that important. Driga Visionary, okay. So our opponent might be drawing into a land, and they do. So now that's 6/5. Very, very big creature. And nothing we can do about that. Ooh, this turn we have Shepherd of Heroes, but we only have clerics in play. We gain yet another land. We can gain 2 life, 4, so we're getting 4 life if we play Shepherd of Heroes. That does put us into flying. However, I want to have an opportunity to get rid of Territorial Scythe Cat. But I would rather be attacking with the flying creature first, so... what do we do here? What do we do here? We can also alternatively play Nissa Zendikar and attack with it, but I feel like that's a little bit inefficient because we are playing defensively right now anyway. So I think we'll go for the Mesa Lynx and hold up Might of Marasa, and hopefully we can trade off for this Territorial Scythe Cat before it goes completely out of control. Let's see if our opponent has another land. Another Driga Visionary. Excellent card to have for our opponent. All they need is to draw more lands to win. Taijuru Blightblade, okay. Isn't going to worry me one bit. So our opponent doesn't do anything. So now we drop yet another plains, and we will play the Shepherd of Heroes, and this way we have some sort of offense going now, and we're gaining 1,000,000 life, so that's great, and we will pass here. Another Scythe Cat. Unfortunately, our opponent is drawing a land whenever we don't have Might of Marasa up, so that's a huge problem. I think I'm just gonna have to let this go. Our opponent plays Kazandu Stomper, and unfortunately that means they get 2 cards back into their hand. And again, because we don't have any hard removal for Territorial Scythe Cat, this is really bad news for us. We draw yet another land. That's not really going to help us. We have Might of Marasa here, which can get us +5/+5. We're running out of options here, really. So Nissa Zendikar on a plains. We still have enough mana for Might of Marasa. And I suppose we'll hold back and hope for the best. Alternatively, we could be going for the attack here. But I feel like we need to block something soon. So this is very scary. Our opponent has 5 mana open. That's exactly enough for Might of Marasa. But if we don't block something, we are going to lose here. So what we're going to do is... oops, undo. We're going to pass to blockers. We are definitely going to try and blow up the Territorial Scythe Cat here. And then perhaps we just let the Kazandu Stomper damage go through. Or we could double block this as well. But if he does have, if they do have, no, if they do have Might of Marasa, we've lost anyway. So I think the best bet is to try and get rid of the Territorial Scythe Cat and draw into some of our answers. If we double block here, our opponent can just Might of Marasa the Kazandu Stomper, and then we instantly lose. Because we lose both of our creatures with no recourse. So yeah, there's the +5/+5. We can Might of Marasa our own planes here, so we don't instantly lose here. But we are perilously close to losing now. And of course, right on target, we are back to drawing only lands, so here we are. Our opponent has Seafood Stalker, so that means we are losing. If our opponent can see the solution, all they need to do is tap some mana for Seafood Stalker and we would have lost. I don't know why they are spending time doing this. And of course, right on target. I mean, I honestly, you just need to let me hover over his card. He doesn't see that. He can just make that unblockable. So I guess we will just block and make this fun for him, I suppose. Kor Celebrant and our yeah, we have. Wait, if we block both of this, do we survive? 7. No, we take 1 damage and 2. So, if we block Seafood Stalker, we only take 2 damage. I mean, that doesn't help us survive Kazandu Stomper for next turn. Our deck has no creature removal whatsoever. And we are left with basically nothing, and our opponent still has Seafood Stalker. So don't make this mistake, friends. If you have a creature that can go unblockable, there's no reason not to just, you know, win. So we play the Plains, and we play Taunting Arbor Mage, I guess. Since it doesn't matter, I will attack anyway. And once again. our opponent finally figures us out. Grumpy George finally gets ungrumpy enough to figure out how to win. And we move on to the next one. Solid, solid, solid. 0-1 for our banner here. Always a good start. Most of our drafts this time around seem to have started out 0-1. That's hilarious. Alright, no green mana. But we do have 2 playables, so maybe I risk it. Let's do it. Oh, okay. That is not good. It's time to panic now. And panic is over because we managed to draw a second land. Well, 5th land, technically. That is green. Okay, wow. Our combo is here already, so that's good. We can drop the land and play Cliffhaven Sellsword and pass. Spark Mage, oh no. Deals X damage to target creature. That is an excellent trade for our opponent. Attended Healer is excellent to have when we have this many lands and we have life gain going. If it survives, alright, 5/4 creature, pretty scary. But not something we are particularly concerned with because we are about to gain a lot of life. So we are going to play the Attended Healer first before dropping our land. And now we drop a land and get 2 1/1 tokens. Pretty solid. Next turn we get to play Shepherd of Heroes. Wow, our opponent's Seafood Stalker is quite scary. That's 8 damage coming into our face, 3 of which we cannot defend against. I think I will elect to chump block here. Our opponent has Seagate Colossus, so, well, that's no good for us. However, we do get a lot of 1/1 tokens here. Ooh, I don't get a 1/1 token because that's the first time I gain life. Oops, that was not the best play. I should have played the Forest and then played Kazandu Stomper. But that wouldn't have made a difference. Alright, so once again, we are thwarted by our opponents, who seem to be drawing way better cards than we are. So, our opponent probably has Sizzling Barrage, so blocking with multiple creatures is probably going to be completely pointless. So the best I can do is something like this. I'm almost sure our opponent has Sizzling Barrage. Kitesail Cleric doesn't help us. However, Kazandu Stomper does. We can at least stall. It does have 5 toughness, so it does survive. We can return a plains to our hand. And another plains, sure, why not? And we can drop one of them because we did not draw a card this turn. We get 2 more cat tokens to block with. I might want to just play this now. I don't know if I need to tap 2 creatures. But let's try attacking with our attended healers here. Well, I forgot attended healer can actually give our creatures lifelink here. Let's see what our opponent has. They have nothing, so let's try for Kitesail Cleric. I think we want to get as many creatures out as possible for aggression. So we will try and trade here. Actually, once again, we can just chump block for days here, so if our opponent has Sizzling Barrage, we can just chump block for days and still win this race, I believe, especially because we can start putting some life gain or lifelink on. Into the Royal, bounces our Kazandu Stomper, which is fine with us, really. Because now we just drop the planes, we get more tokens again, we get the Kazandu Stomper back in. We once again bounce 2 lands, and we can attack with our flyers and 1 attended healer. Let's attack with both attended healers this time. Since our opponent didn't seem to have an answer, we can go more aggressive. Ardent Pyromancer, okay, our opponent now has a bunch of mana. 6 mana is pretty scary. Akum Warrior is just a 4/5 trampler, so we aren't that afraid of that. And once again here, we just chump block our opponent's creatures. And that doesn't matter. We draw yet another land, which is great. However, what we do now is we get the concede, apparently, because we will drop lands, we'll get chump blockers, and actually it's pretty nasty this turn. We would have played the Angel Protector to get our Kazandu Stomper indestructible, so our opponents would be forced to block to survive, and we'll get rid of their creatures, and we'll just keep blocking with the cat tokens. So we did it. We had cats saving our lives, and that was quite fun and very satisfying. Our cat combo came alive. Let's Yasharn, no. Yasharn, green, white, cats. Cat tokens. Yeah, that's what we're gonna call this. Is there some way I can change my chat? I forgot, how do I change my... here's my... Oh, I forgot, I need to change this part too. I see. Alright, I need to change my stream title once in a while too. So that's what I should be doing. Done. Change here. Oh. I hope it's not... I hope I'm not tweeting a whole bunch from that. That's weird. Oh, where are you going? 1-1. On to the next. I don't know how many people are watching right now, but come say hi in chat. Drop me a follow if you are having fun chillin'. We're going first. We have our our Kor Celebrant, so I think we're just gonna have to keep this outright just because we have a Kor Celebrant. Hopefully we will draw into our game-ending cards. Not quite. Ooh, our opponent has Kaza Royal Chaser. Are you serious, man? This person is so lucky. Unbelievable. Alright. Three color deck. Very, very spicy and limited from our opponent, Abzan's Best. Not Azban, but Abzan. Adventurer Waits cost 1 mana, and they find a Cleric of Chill Depths. That's a pretty solid find. Sigi Benneret becomes our warrior, but we need a wizard. We might as well get our wizard in play, honestly. That way we're just gaining a whole bunch of life. And we will have a larger party member count for our Emeria captain. We have 3 party members already. Pretty solid, so we will get a 4/4 flying vigilance creature soon. However, with those colors, our Emeria captain is probably going to be instantly shot out of the sky, so we will have to see what happens with that. Our opponent seems to be stuck on 3 lands, which is good news for me anyway, and wow, okay. So a cheap field research, and our opponent still finds no lands, so unfortunately for our opponents... Oh, no, there it is, there's the 4th land. We are at 5 lands, and we will drop our Emeria captain here. However, I could attack with the Taunting Arbor Mage here and flex the Seagate Benneret. However, they might have Marasa's Call, so I will just go with Emeria's captain here. Three 1/1 counters on our Emeria captain. So I don't care about Taunting Arbor Mage, so if they have a Might of Marasa, I don't really care if this creature dies, so let's attack into this. Ooh, what am I talking about? Oops. Our opponent's Cleric of Chill Depths is 3 toughness, so that was a little bit silly of me. I completely forgot that I had already spent my mana and I wasn't flexing any threats. Well, actually, technically, I could have been flexing the party member damage card, the one that deals 2 damage for each party member in your 2 damage for every party member you control. That is 1 white to cast, and I could have blown up his Cleric of Chill Depths there. But unfortunately, I do not have that card. Ooh, so we have Attended Healer here. So now we're going to get a whole bunch of 1/1 tokens, hopefully, if it resolves. And our Seagate Benneret is going to power up a lot of... Unfortunately, that was not to be, so we will... Should we play the land? I don't think we need to play the land. If our opponent has Might of Marasa here, it's +3 +3, so it's a 3/5, so we wouldn't have enough. So let's just drop the land and call it a day. Roiling Regrowth is pretty nasty. It gives our opponent many more lands to hold up threats. Unfortunately, we did lose our attended healer because we did not have enough lands. To pay the 2 mana. Yumera Mystic is pretty scary. It is also a flying creature. Our opponent has Low Mage's Familiar, so maybe they don't have Murasa's Might here. Ooh, Yasharn gives us plenty of lands to play with. Players can't pay life or sacrifice non-land permanents to cast spells or activate abilities. So far, I don't see that as a possibility. So, whenever you cast an instant or sorcery, it gets +1/+2. So, I think I'm still pretty safe attacking into it. But only if I have full mana. So, let's see what happens if I attack with my Mirius Captain here. With my Benerit mana up. Our opponent could cast Shell Shield, I suppose, and double block. Nope, our opponent just takes 4 damage. Which is fine with me, so I will drop the Kazandu Stomper here. That sticks, we gain some life, we get to bounce 2 lands. And we can drop 1 back right now. We don't have any other landfall right now, so yeah, there's no reason not to play a land, really. Oops, I don't know why I bounced 2 lands. I guess one of them's untapped now. Alright, well, that could be a good reason. Another flying creature, which is not good news for us. However, we do have Kazandu Stomper, that could be a threat now. So what can we do here? Drop the land. Play the Benerit. Gain life with the Kor Celebrant. And then I suppose I try and attack with Kazandu Stomper and see what happens. We do have enough mana to pump our Kazandu Stomper once, so our opponent is looking at a 7/6 Trampler here. Okay, our opponent really wants to blow up our creature. That's 4, so they're probably planning to cast something. We'll go for Yumara, and I guess the Cleric of Chill Depths first. I don't think we'll get to the Low Mage Familiar, but I would rather get rid of the Cleric of Chill Depths. Although the kick spell is pretty annoying, so maybe we try and get rid of that. We do have 7 here. That might be a little bit greedy though. Well, if they're getting Shell Shield, it doesn't matter which I'm destroying. If it's Might of Murasa, we're getting none of these guys anyway. And there's not anything that's going to give you +1/+1. So yeah, let's be greedy and see that. Yeah, I suppose we will have to activate this ability now. Chilling Trap -4. So like I said, it did not matter. We did manage to blow up the flying creature, so that's that. That is one less threat we need to worry about. And our opponent did use their Chilling Trap, so that's pretty solid. Not too bad, not too shabby. Mrs. Zendikar is pretty scary. Yasharn gives us more lands. So let's see what happens if we attack with just our Emeria Captain again. We'll flex some mana to pump up Emeria Captain if our opponent does not block. Our opponent does choose to block. Might of Murasa comes out, okay, and that's going to give it +5/+5. So it becomes a 6/6. That's not going to save us, so we are dead in the water here. But it does get rid of our opponent's Might of Murasa, which was the card that we were concerned about with in the first place. So here we go, we will drop this. And we will pick up some more white sources, I suppose. Oh, white and sorry. We can only pick one of each, so we will do that and call it a day. Our opponent is playing a kicker deck, so hopefully... Ooh, they're going to beat us down with flyers now. That does seem like it could be a threat. However, we do have Mrs. Zendikar. Our opponent can no longer sacrifice the Merfolk Wind Robber. Our opponent mills our Might of Murasa, of course, just our luck. And we are now drawing into the land portion of our deck, which is not good because we don't have our Nectar Pot to take advantage. We have more... I guess it doesn't matter. Our opponent cancels our card, which is fine with me because we do have one trump card. Our opponent is quite tapped out, so I wouldn't mind. If our opponent blocks with these two, I only get to destroy one of them. That's going to be true regardless. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I'm pretty close to getting +2/+2 to everything, so I guess I will just have to wait. So our opponent got really lucky here, hitting us with Anti-Cognition, hitting us with Chilling Trap, hitting us with Might of Murasa, hitting us with Negate, each time perfectly as needed. So we are going to have to wait. Our opponent attacks us again. Mills one card. And it's another card that we needed, unfortunately. Ooh, okay, so we see the Stampede now. It is a sorcery. Five, 6. So I can get +3/+3 until end of turn here. I guess we try it. I don't know. I'm out of ideas. Our opponent is forced to block. And we do get to do one activation of Seagate Banneret. And we are sitting at 24 life, so we should be pretty safe here. I wonder what our opponent is going to do. Okay. And then we activate this. Did our opponent just... Okay, I guess we are our opponent is at 1 life. That's cool. I'm not sure what they are waiting for. Looks like our opponent just drew a land, so that's fine with me. We have 6. Do I just attack with everything again? I suppose I could just play Angel Heart Protector and wait. Because next turn I'm gonna have plenty of creatures to attack with. Our opponent can't even sacrifice Merfolk Wind Robber to draw a card if they wanted to because of Yasharn. Glacial Grasp comes in, and we are stuck on the ground for a little bit longer. Ruin Crab comes out as a potential blocker. And our opponent drops another land. Oh, now they're trying to mill us out. Alright. It's our turn. We draw a land. That is fine. I suppose we attack with all of our creatures anyway here. Our opponent is forced to block with everything. So I don't know what our opponent's plan is here. One activation. And here you see why Seagate Banneret is a very playable card in this format. The games tend to go long, and you end up having a lot of extra mana, which allows you to get double activations and hopefully end the game. We did it. We got the victory. Our opponent's deck just ran out of gas, even though they all of their action spells hit perfectly. They didn't seem to draw their game threats, their game-ending threats, so I guess that's a 2-1 for us. So now we are on to the next one. We see 2 playable creatures with enough lands and both colors, so I guess we have to go play this against a Bun. Ooh, Taijuru Blightblade is an excellent start. I will trade this creature here. If our opponent has Might of Murasa, I don't mind that, because that still is spending 1 card to destroy the other. Expedition Healer is an excellent draw for our opponent. Fortunately, they do not have lifelink. We'll have the Angel Heart Protector here. Rabid Bite unfortunately hits us, which is fine. It's another kill spell that we got rid of. However, we don't have enough mana for Emeria Captain now, so our best bet is to just go for Turn Timber Ascetic next turn. A 1/1 Emeria, or yeah, a 2/2 flying creature for 4 mana isn't good enough, so we might as well play a little bit slow. We can get Yasharn and get more lands out. But I think Turn Timber Ascetic here is good enough. We will definitely gain some life at least. Maybe it will stop our opponents. Ooh, our opponent is a little bit mana flooded, it seems. If our opponent has a card, I suppose we'll just take 2 damage here. The 2 damage isn't too much of a threat, because now we get Emeria Captain and whatnot out here. They might have Murasa. I don't want the Ascetic to die just yet. So here, let's get Cleric. Cleric, that's already a Cleric. So if we get this, I'm not going to get anything special. So maybe I get the Yasharn out first to get more lands. We'll play the land, and let's see if our opponent has Might of Murasa, I suppose. +3/+3 will still trade. So let's see what happens if I attack. Our opponent takes 5, fine with me. We don't need Yasharn, so we can block here. But I think we can just take the 5 damage. Allied Assault is quite scary. That's 9 damage. Nectar Pot is pretty sweet. Let's get that. Can use it as a chump blocker now. We can gain some life here. And then we can... once again attack with Turn Timber Ascetic. Smite the Monstrous could help us here. Gain 2 life. We need to... I think we need to get the... No, if our opponent has a pump spell, we can block here. We can block here. If our opponent has a pump spell, we can smite the Monstrous, so that's what we're hoping for anyway, to get rid of a creature with Smite the Monstrous. Dauntless Unity is fine. Might of Marasa is fine as well, but we can just smite the monstrous on their Dorega Visionary. So their Might of Marasa fizzles, and all we lose is the Nectar Pot. So now our opponent has no cards in their hand. They are a sitting duck. We can play Emiria Captain here. Seagate Banneret just as a backup chump blocker. And we can attack with both. That's 9 damage, so our opponent is now at 1. I don't think there's any one card that can... Yep. Our opponent is very gracious. They offered the GG before conceding. Excellent, excellent. We did it. I think that puts us at 3-1, maybe? 3-1 is nice and sweet. Update my text here. 3-1. 3-1, 3-1. 3-1 is better than 2-2. We are ready against Ryan Iskerde. Iskerde? I don't know how to pronounce that. Oof. Okay. Opponent is going first yet again. However, we do have Kor Celebrant, but a lot weaker of a hand. We don't really necessarily want Might of Marasa, and Zendikar is potentially a dead card. But I don't think it's particularly the worst we could hope for. Like, Kor Celebrant is our core card, so I think we'll go with this. Fortunately, our opponent has a relatively aggressive start here with the Kitesail Cleric. We will need some help. We do have our 4th land already, so at least our Nissa Zendikar isn't a dead draw. Kor Blademaster is pretty scary though. If they have a Skyclave pick or whatever next turn, we are so screwed. Take 3 damage here. Territorial Scythe Cat. And we start off with our very, very slow Kor Celebrant, but we get to gain some life at least. Scale the Heights puts Kor Blademaster at 2/2 double strike. Wow, so we are well on our way to losing here. Our opponent knows it. They have basically the perfect hand, and we have offered no resistance. We can't double block the Territorial Scythe Cat here, but if our opponent has Might of Marasa, we're instantly dead. Our opponent has the Kor Blademaster, which can kill either of our creatures anyway. Nahiri's Binding ensures our opponent's win, because we don't have any blockers. So that's the end of that. That was a quick one. Our opponents got their perfect draw, and we did the exact opposite. We got one of our worst draws possible. So we are now at 3-2. on to the next. Against our opponent of the Mole. Alright, unfortunately we are once again going second with the very, very weak part of our deck. We have a cleric of a wizard. And this is Zendikar. I might mulligan this one. And this isn't that much better, to be fair. We have two of our useless creatures in the deck. Hey, but we draw our Yasharn. That's kind of cool. Mesa Lynx does pair up pretty well against a Kum Hellhound, so at least there's that. Dauntless Survivor will put a 1/1 counter on a Kum Hellhound. In my opinion, that's a bit of a mistake. But they do get to continue their attack, so we'll put out our Cliffhaven Sellsword here. Opponent plays Tuk Tuk Rubblefort, which does not help them. And now we get a little bit of breathing space. We have the warrior already, so that's going to be 2/2. We're going to gain 4 life with our angel, so we definitely need to get the lands. So we will get our lands and leave it at that. Our opponent draws another Nectar Pot, so our opponent will be plenty of life. We do see the Banneret with lots of lands, so once again it is paying off, but we will start getting our flying creature here. We gain 4 life, which is nice. Our opponent seems to be low on lands. The Mole is low on lands. Nope, they're not low on lands. They play a land. So they gain a bunch of life. Their Hellhound gets a little bit bigger. And I don't really care about taking 3 damage. Opponent Spitfire Legak. So, is there any way for me to gain life? No. So, we can do a surprise attack here. However, the Legak is quite the good blocker. So perhaps the best I can do here is summon my Kazandu Stomper. And return some lands to my hand. I will attack with the Shepherd of Heroes. I'm actually not sure why I returned 2 lands. I should have just returned 1. Oops. Territorial Scythe comes out. Pretty scary. Our opponent has plenty of triggers now for landfall. Once again, I'll attack with my flyer. Very curious. Might of Marasa is +5/+5. So I think I'm pretty safe actually double blocking here because one of my creatures should still survive. Even if they have Might of Marasa here. Sizzling Barrage. Whoa. Okay. I don't care about that creature at all. Drop a land. Drop a Myria Captain. And I am once again attacking in the air. Next turn I'm going to be gaining a lot of life. And I will be gaining cat tokens. Yasharn is going to go indestructible. So I will attack with these three and then give one of my cleric, this is a warrior, not a cleric. Okay, I can't give that lifelink. Synchronized Spellcraft deals 4 damage to that creature. So unfortunately, my creature is no longer. Our opponent sacrifices Dauntless Survivor, and we end our turn. If I had enough mana for Seagate Banneret, we could have saved our Angel, but we could not. Our opponent is out of answers. Our opponent attacks with a 3/4. Suppose we will sacrifice something to get rid of it. Our opponent chooses to get rid of our warrior, which is fine with me. We draw more lands, unfortunately. However, we do have Seagate Banneret activations available. So hopefully we can slowly chip away at our opponent's health here. Ever so slowly. Our opponent gains more life yet again. Our opponent's at 23, we're at 22, so hopefully we draw more answers than not. Kitesail Cleric is excellent. We can tap 2 of our opponent's creatures here. For how much mana do I have? I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to activate once, and I can kick for 4. Okay. Tap up to 2 target creatures, so I will tap the Scythe Cat and the Nectar Pot. And I will attack with a whole bunch of creatures. We do have to be careful, our opponent's Scythe Cat is 6/5. That is quite scary. Ooh, I messed up. Oops. Alright, so that was irrelevant. I can't attack with the 4/4 though. Oops. So what I had meant to do was cast Kitesail and pump my creatures with Seagate Banneret, but that didn't happen. 6, 7, 8, 9, so 10. Now we have enough for 2 pumps. We'll just attack with our flying creatures here. Okay. Okay. Get rid of the Tuk Tuk Rubble Fort. Tormenting Voice, okay, allows our opponent to draw 2 cards. But our opponent concedes because they don't have any answers after we destroy their Tuk Tuk Fort. And we score another victory. Hooray! We are now 4-2. Moving on to the next one. 4-2 is a good place to be. Four two. All right, here we go. What do we have? We have a decent hand. All right, and we're going first, so we can hope to drop the Nectar Pot first. And then we can get our Wizard out maybe, and then our Emeria Captain. Against our opponent, J-King 0629. I wonder if that's their birthday. Alright, our opponent has nothing apparently, so let's try Cliffhaven Sellsword. Sure, why not? And we will attack for 1. And our opponent concedes! Okay, so when that happens, I believe our opponent is playing a 2-color deck, but only has lands from 1 color. So with a 3/1 creature on the board with no way for our opponent to deal with it, that's usually why they would concede. In any case, we are at 5-2. We will take the free wins. Never complain about free wins. You have to be very grateful. Right, Yordle? Yordle is also very grateful. Very grateful for free wins. Very grateful for free wins. We are up against Azul 311. Oh, hey, we made it to gold 4. That's kind of cool. Ooh, okay, so now it's the exact opposite. We're going first, and we have no plane, so we definitely have to mulligan, even though we have one of our core cards, Kor Celebrant. Wow. Okay, so it went the exact opposite. We're never going to play McKinley Stampede at this point, so we will just drop that. However, it could be a third land if in a panic. No, this is too early. I don't think we're ever going to play that. We have Seagate Bennett as our mana sink already, so we're really hoping just to draw enough lands to stay alive. Okay. That is not drawing enough lands to stay alive. Let's see what happens if we attack here. Can play the Mesa Lynx. Opponent attacks or has the Nectar Pot and does nothing. And we are mana screwed. So we can do nothing here. And we can do nothing here again. Nice! Mana screwed. Against our opponent's blue, green, still mana screwed. Well, we got a free win, so I suppose we deserved a free loss. Can't be blocked, and our opponent gets to draw a card, which is excellent for them. Still no land, so I don't think we can well, we just need one forest and then we have a chance here. One forest and our deck kind of starts doing something. Our opponent isn't throwing down too many threats right now, so what? Wow, so our opponent can draw a million cards now. Ooh, okay, finally we see if Yasharn gets countered, we're basically done. Fortunately, it does not. Two more lands. So we are starting off really far behind now. Draws a card. Are they going to copy? Nope, they are not going to copy the ability. But our opponent is outdrawing us by a million cards, 26 to... Okay, I guess they started with more than 40 cards. But they have drawn 3 cards already with the sure-footed infiltrator so far. Here's where we play Nectar Pot, so we can start gaining some life back. We can drop the forest, and we still have Mightorasa up. I think we're still too far behind to go on the aggression. But our opponent has Lithoform and copy target permanent spell you control. Wow, that's just absurd. I'm not even sure why our opponent didn't just copy the squid. I mean, a free squid. How can you complain about a free squid, right? At this point, they don't even need to play. They just need to have even the most basic and useless creatures hit the board. But just because our opponent will get 2 copies of them, our opponent is eventually going to overrun us. Rabbit bites, okay. And our opponent is obviously going to copy the spell. And blow up a second creature here. So we are getting heavily outvalued here. We go down to 13 and our opponent is still drawing cards like crazy with no way for us to stop it because we were so far behind due to our deck not being nice to us. Play another land. And I suppose we can get the... No, let's gain some life first. Call it a day. Tazim Royal Mage will get our opponent their Rabid Bite back. So that's annoying. Suppose I will block the squid. And we see a Zulaput Duelist here, even. Rolling my eyes here. And now our deck is drawing nothing but lands, so that's cool. That is also cool. Our opponent is just top decking whatever they need. I'm surprised we lasted this long, honestly. Fortunately, we milled 4 lands, so, you know, the rest of the cards should all be just action cards. Not sure what else I can do at this point. And we still managed to draw more lands. So my deck had 5 lands lined up for... So, whatever, man. We will concede here because all I have are lands, I have no blockers, and our opponent has plenty of damage to deal with us. So, fun times. That makes it 5-3. And we end our day today at 5-3. But first, we have to do our debrief. So here we go. Before we claim our prize, let's go to our debrief of how we ended up at 5-3. So that last game, obviously, we just got completely screwed. However, we did get a free win before that, so all in all, you can't complain too much. So our deck kind of did exactly what we had planned to do. We had some mana curve issues where the first and second turn we really didn't have anything reliable or all that exciting to play, and we were almost always hoping for that 4th land and 5th land. So that came very true. None of the cards really underperformed except Relic Vial. We never saw this card, so I guess can you say it underperformed if you never drew it? Surprisingly enough, with 2 Attendant Healers and 3 Kor Celebrants, we only got this combo out once. No, we never even saw this combo, did we? Did we? I think the combo we saw was Kazandu Nectarpot with the Attendant Healer. So unfortunately, we didn't see that happen a lot, but it was very exciting when it did. That was quite hilarious when we managed to stall our opponent's gigantic creatures just by churning out cat tokens from our Nectar Pot and Attendant Healer turn after turn while we beat them to submission with our flyers. And like we predicted, our Seagate Venerate came in really handy with a bunch of mana ramp cards in our deck. Well, actually mostly just Yasharn and the fact that I am cursed with drawing way too many lands all of the time. We made good use of this mana sink. Besides that, I think there wasn't anything too exciting. Our win conditions were the flyers, and Yasharn did Yasharn things. I guess, how can we complain? So that's it for tonight. Thank you so much for watching. If you're on YouTube, please like and or subscribe. And if you're on Twitch, please leave me a follow, and I will be doing more drafts. Good night, and I'll see you later. You're at the church. Goodbye.